All right, Pisces, it's January 20th. There's a dynamic here that's ready to shift. Judgment reversed. Right away, this card is glaring at you with a warning. Self, doubt, fear of change, and avoiding accountability. Pisces, you're caught in that tension, wanting freedom but scared of what it costs. You want to break free, but something's holding you back, like a voice inside saying, "Not yet, not safe." The judgment, reversed, isn't subtle. It's shouting about how you're stuck in self, criticism, dragging old mistakes around like chains. This card calls out the habit of blaming others or external situations instead of owning your role. You might have stayed in toxic environments longer than you should because it's familiar. It's easier to deny change than face the discomfort of growth. Wait. This isn't about beating yourself up. Not to trap you in guilt, but to show you where you've resisted necessary transformation. You might have avoided looking at feedback or brushed off opportunities to evolve. That avoidance leads to stagnation. It's like standing still in quicksand. You're sinking, but the ground feels steady. I'm seeing a theme of fear here. Fear of what happens if you move forward. Fear that taking responsibility means losing something. Comfort, identity, control. This fear is real, but it's also the barrier. You might replay the same patterns, the same doubts, the same what-ifs that drain your energy. Not in a harsh way, but in a practical sense. What choices have you made that led you here? What habits are you repeating? You can't change what you won't admit. This card pushes you to embrace change, even if it's uncomfortable. To accept responsibility for your role without shame. That's the first step out of stagnation. But be careful. This card also signals a trap. If you keep avoiding self-reflection, blaming others, or fearing transformation, you'll stay stuck. You might keep ignoring feedback or stay in toxic environments because the idea of change feels too risky. So what to do? Reflect on your past choices. Look at them without judgment, but with clarity. Embrace the change that's knocking on your door, even if it shakes your foundation. Accept responsibility where it's due. Don't wait for someone else to fix it or for the right moment to come, because that moment might never arrive if you keep resisting. Are you ready to stop hiding from yourself? To stop fearing the transformation that freedom requires? Freedom isn't free. It demands you drop the self, doubt, and take real action. Otherwise, you stay stuck and the tension only grows. To that, this is just the start. The energy is raw, but it's honest. It's urging you to face what you've been avoiding. Because the longer you deny it, the more the cost piles up. And Pisces, you deserve better than that. The Hermit shows up here. This card is honing in on introspection and finding your own light in the dark. I'm seeing you pulling back, not out of fear, but to tune in deeper. The Hermit demands you take a step back, not to hide, but to reflect. Look, there's a difference between shutting down and tuning in. The Hermit says, journal daily. Write out what's gnawing at you. Don't skip this step. Grab a notebook and dump your thoughts. It's a solo ritual, but it's active, a practice, not a punishment. You're not supposed to isolate so much that you lose grip on the world. Instead, use solitude as a tool. Sit with your thoughts. Meditate. Let your inner voice rise above the chaos. Don't rush decisions right now. The Hermit warns against that. You might feel pressure to act fast, especially after wrestling with change earlier. But the Hermit tells you, slow down. Let your soul, searching, marinate. When you leap without clarity, it's like stumbling in the dark. Instead, light your own lantern. That's the core of the Hermit's wisdom. You might be tempted to ignore advice or dismiss your gut because it doesn't look like the easy path. The Hermit calls for honesty with your inner self. Trust those quiet feelings, even if they contradict what others say. This is not about isolation from others, but about tuning your inner compass. You're not alone when you listen to yourself first. Actually, no. Listening is the first step to knowing who to lean on. I'm seeing you could benefit from solo retreats, not necessarily long trips. Even taking some hours in a quiet spot, away from screens and chatter, can reset your clarity. The Hermit wants you to create space for that regularly. It's not a one-time fix. It's a habit. You keep feeding your inner light so it doesn't flicker out when things get messy. Beware of confusing isolation with introspection. That's a trap. If you pull away but don't engage with your inner voice, you're just running from discomfort. The Hermit's energy is active, not passive. It's about searching your soul, not hiding from the world. So if you catch yourself spiraling or feeling lonely, reach out. Use the wisdom you find inside to choose who supports your growth, not who drains it. Remember the tension we talked about earlier, the push for freedom versus the fear of change. The Hermit is the key to balancing that. It's about holding space for yourself amid the unknown. Instead of clinging to old patterns, you pause and ask, what do I really need? What truth am I ignoring? It's the quiet work behind the scenes that breaks the chains. So here's what you do. Journal, meditate, take those solo moments. Don't jump into decisions or changes until you felt the pulse of your own wisdom. The Hermit says clarity comes from within, not from rushing into the next thing or trying to please others. You're lighting your own way now. Trust that light. It's stronger than you think. Keep that lantern close. You're closer to your truth than you realize. The Hermit's path isn't easy, but it's the one that leads you out of stagnation and into real transformation. Don't be afraid to walk it alone for a while. That solitude is your power, not your prison. Four of Wands reversed. This card is flashing an alarm about instability where you thought things were settled. The Four of Wands reversed calls out disrupted harmony and a lack of support that you can't ignore any longer. Those old patterns you promised yourself you'd outgrow, they're creeping back. Maybe you dodged family gatherings or ghosted friends when things got tense. That avoidance is exactly what this card warns against. You can't rebuild what's shaky by running from the discomfort. Look closely. This isn't just about one argument or a single night of bad vibes. It's the bigger picture. Foundations that never got the care they needed. The Four of Wands, reversed, pushes you to stop pretending everything's fine when it's not. You're seeing the cracks now. That restless energy, the disappointment bubbling under the surface, it's real. And it's time to face it. You might feel like walking away is easier. But that's exactly the trap. That means sitting down for the hard talks you've been avoiding. It means showing up, even when it feels messy or exhausting. It demands digging in and patching up the roots. Here's the kicker. Don't dismiss your support systems. You might be tempted to isolate yourself, thinking you can handle this alone. Reach out, reconnect, rebuild those bridges before the chasm grows too wide. You're in that awkward middle ground, aware of the chaos but unsure how to fix it. That tension between wanting peace and feeling like it's out of reach, it's calling you to step up, to take ownership of the unrest. Don't let the fear of confrontation keep you locked in the same old cycles. Remember, ignoring conflicts won't dissolve them. It comes from action, from facing the discomfort head on, from being honest about what's broken and what you need to feel safe again. So, what does that look like? Maybe it means making a call you've been putting off, or showing up at a gathering when you really don't want to. Maybe it's sharing your truth instead of swallowing it down. This card is about breaking disconnection by rebuilding trust and communication, even if it's messy. You're not starting from scratch. You have pieces to work with, but they need your attention. Don't run from the unrest. Lean into it. Use this turbulence as a catalyst to repair what's been left unattended. To that, this moment of disharmony is actually your chance to rewrite the story. Don't let it slip by while you hope someone else will fix it. The power's in your hands. You're the one who can turn this instability into a new foundation. So, what's next? Stop dodging those difficult conversations. Stop avoiding the people who matter. Roll up your sleeves and get to work on the relationships and spaces that have been neglected. It won't be easy, but it's necessary. It's nudging you toward the solution. You're ready to rebuild. Now, show up for it. The Fool is here, telling you it's time to step off the ledge. This card shouts new beginnings, fresh starts, the kind that demand you jump before you're sure where you'll land. The Fool pushes you to take that risk. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for perfect conditions that won't come. The Fool is about action, starting that project you've been dreaming about, booking that trip you keep putting off, saying yes to the change you feared. It's innocence and courage wrapped together, the kind of energy that says, I don't have the map, but I trust the journey. You have to trust that, even when it feels reckless. Though the Fool isn't a free pass to be careless. I'm seeing potential here, yes, but also a warning. Don't step blindly without checking the ground below. Naivety without preparation can turn this leap into a fall. You're not being asked to ignore risks, but to not let fear freeze you. Find that balance. Prepare enough to keep your feet steady, but not so much that you never move. You're closing a chapter that kept you stuck in old patterns. The Fool says, release all that hesitation. Stop circling the same doubts. You knew before that clinging to the past wouldn't work. Now you have to act on it. Trust your instincts even when the way forward is foggy. This is the moment where innocence meets experience. You're allowed to be new at this. You're allowed to not have all the answers. Look at your day, today. Where can you take a spontaneous step? Maybe it's a conversation you've been avoiding, or a creative idea you shoved aside. Maybe it's reaching out to someone new, or simply shifting your routine to welcome something different. The Fool wants you to break the mold, to shake off the weight of what you think you should do, and start doing what feels alive. But the longer you wait, the harder it gets. The Fool's energy is contagious. Once you start, momentum builds. The key is to move before your mind convinces you to stop again. Jumping in doesn't mean ignoring logic. It means not letting logic paralyze you. There's power in that first step. Remember how you've been stuck, circling issues that needed facing? The Fool says you're done circling. Now it's time to walk forward. Trust yourself to handle whatever comes. You have more resilience than you realize. The Fool is your green light to act with fresh eyes and an open heart. If you get overwhelmed, breathe. Take smaller steps if you need to. The Fool doesn't demand a giant leap all at once. It's about starting the journey. Every risk taken, every new beginning is a chance to rewrite your story. You're not just repeating patterns, you're creating something different. So what's your next move? What's the small, brave thing you can do today that says yes to adventure? The Fool is waiting right there with you, daring you to trust the unknown, to embrace your potential, and to start that new chapter you've been dreaming of. You're ready, even if you don't feel it yet. Take the step. Don't hold back. The journey starts now. 10 of Wands. You're carrying way too much right now. I'm seeing late nights, saying yes to everything, dragging yourself through endless to-dos. It's not just busy, it's overwhelm dressed up as responsibility. The 10 of Wands is a heavy load. It's the weight of all the little things you promised you'd handle, and now they're crushing your energy. You thought you could juggle it all, but that's the trap. The truth? You need to drop some of those sticks. Delegate. Say no. Prioritize what actually moves you forward. Don't confuse pushing through with progress. This card isn't about heroism or grinding harder. It's about recognizing when the load stops being productive and starts being destructive. You're so busy proving yourself, you're neglecting the one person who matters. You. Take breaks. I mean real breaks, not scrolling on your phone or zoning out. Step back. Look at what's on your plate. What's urgent? What's just noise? What can someone else handle? It's something we often overlook until we're too drained to deny it any longer. Remember that moment of clarity you had earlier? The one where you saw what needs to be released? This card is shouting that same message. It's a turning point. It's a signal. Stop overcommitting. Stop ignoring your limits. If you keep pushing like this, you'll lose sight of why you started. The goal gets fuzzy when you're drowning in tasks. You can't see the forest for the trees. And those trees? They're just distractions disguised as duty. Cut the dead weight. Actually, no. Don't feel guilty for letting go. That's a trap too. Saying no isn't failure. It's survival. It's making room for what truly matters. Your energy is currency. Spend it wisely. You might be tempted to keep going because you think you need to prove your worth through action. You're not a machine. You're not invincible. You're human, and humans need rest. Look for signs. Are you snapping at people? Missing sleep? Skipping meals? Those aren't just side effects. They're red flags. To act now before the load breaks you. So here's the action plan. First, list everything you're carrying. Then, circle what you can hand off. Delegate at work, ask for help at home, say no to extra demands. Next, schedule downtime. Not if I finish everything, but right now. Meet your own needs. You're closer to completion than you think. Don't run yourself into the ground chasing unfinished business. Let go. Breathe. Prioritize. You owe yourself that much. The journey ahead needs your strength, not your exhaustion. Are you ready to answer it? Pisces, we're putting it all together now. The Judgment, reversed, is staring you down. This card screams self, doubt, and fear of change. You've been stuck in old patterns, refusing to face past choices. That resistance, it's costing you your future. The Hermit steps in with a different vibe. This card says, get quiet, get real. The Hermit urges you to seek solitude. Listen to your inner voice. No distractions. You can't rush this. Don't confuse isolation with true introspection. You need that honest soul, searching to find the wisdom buried under the noise. Remember when clarity felt uncomfortable earlier, and you sought solace in journaling or those solo walks? That's your secret weapon. But wait, there's unrest in your foundation. The Four of Wands, reversed, shows disharmony where you wanted peace. Maybe family, maybe friendships, or even your own sense of stability feels shaky. This card warns, ignoring these cracks won't help. You can't just dodge the tough talks or pretend conflict isn't there. Rebuild, reach out, patch those holes before you move forward. Now here's a spark. The Fool shines bright. This card demands you jump. Take the risk. New beginnings are calling. You feel that itch, don't lie. But it's not about reckless leaps. It's about trusting the unknown, embracing potential without overthinking. Start that project. Take that trip. Say yes to the opportunities you've been nervous about. The Fool is the invitation to step off the ledge with eyes wide open. Still, you're carrying heavy loads. Too many duties, too much stress. You've been saying yes to everything and burning yourself out. Prioritize. Take breaks. You can't pour from an empty cup. Saying no isn't weakness, it's survival. Protect your energy so you can finish what matters. This card points to grief and regret. Feel it. Sit with it. But don't live there. You're fixating on what's lost and missing the silver linings right in front of you. That's the trap. Acknowledge your disappointments, then pivot. Healing happens when you shift focus from what went wrong to what's still possible. You're distracted, jumping from task to task, maybe even procrastinating on what truly matters. This card calls you out. Stop chasing perfection or starting new things before finishing old ones. Focus, one step at a time. Realistic goals, real progress. Imperfection is part of the process. Embrace it. Look, Pisces, the work you've been avoiding, like when the pattern you spotted but didn't name earlier started to unravel, that's the work that sets you free. Shadow work, yes, but paired with grounded action. Judgment, reversed, shows the cost of denial. The Hermit guides you inward. Four of Wands, reversed, pushes you to fix what's unstable. The Fool invites you to leap. It's all connected. You can't just think your way out or escape into distraction. You must integrate your shadow, the parts you resist, with practical steps in your world. Face the fears, do the inner work, and rebuild your foundation. Then take that leap with clear eyes and a lighter load. This is your finale moment. Not just a chance to start fresh, but to finish what's begun, inside and out. The freedom you crave isn't a fantasy. It's waiting on the other side of accountability, honest reflection, and focused effort. So, Pisces, what's the action? Sit with yourself in solitude. Journal the truths you dodge. Reach out and repair what's broken. Cut what's draining you. Say yes to new beginnings. And most importantly, keep your eyes on the goal. Freedom born from integrated shadow and grounded steps. You've got this. Don't run from the work. That's your liberation. If this hit, like and subscribe. Share it if it belongs somewhere else. I'll see you soon.